Hey, Pat. Hi. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the media. Coming in a little hot tonight to get this post-game news conference started, as it turns out. We'll be joined in just a moment by Virginia head coach Tony Bennett and student-athletes Kyle Guy and Ty Jerome. The rest of the Virginia student-athletes will be available in their locker room for a period of 30 minutes. We'll try to do our best to let you know when the locker room opens and closes, but the first time you see the student-athletes from Virginia and Coach Bennett here, you'll have a good indication that the locker room is open. The Auburn locker room will also be open for 30 minutes. Head coach Bruce Pearl and Auburn student-athletes will join us following the Virginia post-game news conference. News conferences run 15 minutes post-game here in this room or until we're all done with questions up until 15 minutes. While joining us here in the main interview room, we do ask that you please take a moment to silence your cell phone. I'm going to do that with mine right now. Just a reminder, no flash photography here in the main interview room and no video recording devices of any kind. That includes news gathering ENG cameras, handheld cameras, mini cams, and mobile phones as well. Just a reminder that you can't go live from the main interview room. You can do that in different parts of the arena and during different interview periods, but you can't go live from this room. You also can't record video to post later in this room. If you need access to video, plug into the mults in the back of the room with Hammond Communications. We have representatives that'll be able to help you do that. You can go see any of the fine, lovely people from Hammond Communications. The ladies and gentlemen that work for Hammond are the finest, and they can give you all the feeds you need. Once again, that's Tony Bennett, the head coach of Virginia, Kyle Guy and Ty Jerome joining us first, and the Virginia locker room will be open for 30 minutes at that time. Did everybody get box scores so far that needs one? Paul, you need one? If you need a box score, put your hand up. We have some for you. I don't have many extras, and my delivery mechanism would probably be inefficient from right here. But, Paul, I have one for you right here if you want it. Jason, can you help get Paul like that? Thank you. That'll be $8, Paul. Congrats. We're joined at this time by the head coach of the Virginia Cavaliers, Tony Bennett, and student-athletes Kyle Guy and Ty Jerome. The Virginia locker room is open right now for student-athlete availability. Coach, do you want to open it up?
These are the questions.
We'll take one question for Coach Bennett, then we'll go to the student-athletes. Let's start in the back, on the right side, just to the left of the aisle. Olivia's going to come up and meet Mike.
Hey, Tony, Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch.
I can't hear you.
That's the back right microphone, Matt.
Tony, Mike Barber.
I can probably hear you if you drop and say it. Go ahead.
Take us through that final sequence. What was your confidence level with Kyle as he went to the line for those free throws?
Yeah, well, it's just an action that we run, and Ty said, if you're open, it's coming, and make that thing, I think. And I thought Kyle, because he had hit a great shot the previous play, and, you know, again, I haven't seen the replay, but someone said they did get in his space and pushed him, but then to make the 3 free throws was terrific. You just keep playing. I said that after to Tracy on CBS. I said, these last 2 games, I said, oh my, you know, you can't, how they ended. We got up 10, and they made some tough shots. And then we had a couple of, I think we stood a little bit and had a couple of tough plays, but we played well in the second half, and then they made the plays. And, you know, I do feel for Auburn, but I feel better for us right now, and I'm just thankful that, you know, these guys stepped up and played the way they needed to, and we got through, survive and advance. I guess that's taken on a new meaning.
We're going to take questions for the Virginia student athletes, beginning with Gene in the center of the room.
Hey, Kyle, Gene Wong, Washington Post. Can you take us through your thought process where you're standing at the line there, having to have 3 free throws to win the game?
Yeah, these are moments that, you know, every basketball player has dreamed of, you know, hitting a game-winning shot or free throws or whatever. You know, I kind of had that feeling in your stomach, like a good nervousness, like, all right, this is my chance. And, you know, to be able to go to the national championship off of that for these guys and Coach Bennett, I mean, I really don't have the words.
Continuing with questions for Ty or Kyle on the right, Jim.
Thank you. For Ty, on the sidelines, sitting there, as the end of the game was unfolding, you were about to swallow your hand, it looked like. What was going through your head when you were sitting on the bench during those final moments?
It's your fault you were on the bench.
I was just so frustrated at myself. You know, I let my frustration get the best of me, and I picked up my 4th foul, just a bonehead play, and it almost cost us the game. So luckily, you know, we somehow came out on top, so I get another chance to play Monday, but to put myself on a bench and leave my teammates like that in crunch time is a terrible decision.
Back to the center of the room, and please remember your name and media outlet before your question.
Zach Peerless, Augusta Free Press. For Ty and Kyle, you guys had to commit 3 fouls within, you know, several seconds. Kyle, you were the one on the court. Ty, you were going offense, defense. How often do you practice a situation where you've got to get multiple fouls within a few seconds, and then how close to perfection did you guys execute that?
Ty first, please, then Kyle.
We actually practice late game situations pretty often in practice. You know, we'll make our 2 teams, and, you know, we'll say, all right, this team is down 6 with the ball with 1:30. So it's something we've practiced a lot. We run over our late game situations a lot. So, you know, that 3 Kyle hit was off a play that, you know, Coach put in, and everyone did their job screening, and, you know, Kyle hit a super tough shot. And the same with the side out of bounds plays. You know, it's plays we've put in, we've practiced multiple times. So it wasn't just, you know, luck. Like, we worked on that situation a lot.
And Kyle.
Yeah, we definitely take pride in trying to over-prepare. We have a poster in our practice gym in our weight room that says success happens when preparation meets opportunity. And, you know, we did a great job staying disciplined during those last 10 seconds and, you know, making something happen.
2 questions up front to the left. Let's start right here.
Hi, Lucas Weiss, Last Word on Sports. Ty, Kyle, 1 year ago, you're sitting, you know, in the press conference losing to the number 16 seed. A year later, you're now 1 game away from a national championship. Just comment on what that means and how good it must feel for you guys to be so close for redemption to be achieved.
Ty first, please, then Kyle.
You know, I feel like I get asked this question every single round. Every round we advance, and every round I say the same thing almost, and it feels a little bit sweeter, but, you know, to think this time last year we were starting our spring workouts, and to still be playing at this point of the season with, after tonight, one other team in the whole country on the stage that you dream about since you're a little kid, it's an unreal feeling, and, you know, we're going to do everything we can to finish the job.
Kyle, same question.
Yeah, not much to add. Just, you know, you guys can ask that question again on Monday.
On the left toward the front, Pat.
Yeah, Kyle, were you waiting for a whistle on that? And then do you have an internal dialogue at all when you're going to a free throw line of anything you say to yourself?
Yeah, I knew. I heard him call it right away. So they were asking me, like, did I know? Because I put my hand and or my face into my jersey. But that was me focusing. I knew they called a foul. I knew that I, got behind the line for 3 shots because, I practiced that. I just literally told myself that, we dream of these moments, and, to be able to, make one happen was special.
Next question's in the second row, just in front. Paul.
Paul Woody, Richmond Times-Dispatch. This is for Kyle. How many times have you stood in your driveway on an outdoor court or just in a practice gym by yourself and said 3 free throws to win the game or tie the game? And after Tennessee called the timeout, it looked like you didn't go into the huddle. You just sort of walked around the edge. Were you trying to not get caught up in any conversations?
Yeah, I didn't want anything to do with my teammates or my coaches at that time. I just wanted to, be in my own space. I knew they had confidence in me, so I was just building up my own. And I, practice. Huh? Oh, yeah. No, I mean, we all practiced those shots as a kid. They're probably a little bit more spectacular than free throws, but whatever it takes to win.
Final question for the student athletes up front toward the right.
Matt Cox, 3-man weave. Just given the range of emotions in that game, is it more jubilation or relief you're feeling right now?
That's for Kyle. You want to take them?
I don't really have the words for how I feel. I really don't. And, I've been pinching myself the whole time I've been in Minneapolis because it just doesn't really feel real. But I'm just so happy right now. I'm so proud of he played freaking phenomenal. I mean, 21, 9, and 6. Like, he carried us through this game. Obviously, Coach did a fantastic job preparing us and, making the adjustments during the game. And, I think it's a little bit of both. And just really happy right now.
We want to thank Ty and Kyle for joining us here in the main interview room. They're going to head back to the Virginia locker room, which is still open for student athlete availability. Looking for questions for Coach Bennett. Let's start in row number 4 on the left of the aisle. Your name and media outlet.
Coach Dane Mizutani with the St. Paul Pioneer Press. DeAndre Hunter had a huge stretch early in the second half. Just how big was his, imposing force in kind of getting that game turned around?
I'm having a hard time hearing. There's a fan.
Matt, can you turn the monitor up a little bit?
Yeah, I thought his second half was key for us. I thought we played good basketball in the second half to get up that, but he attacked. First half, they're athletic and they're quick, but DeAndre really did the things we needed. Got us different kinds of baskets, whether he could drive, got a couple offensive rebounds, and really a very strong second half for sure.
Coach, a little further back to the left of the aisle. Mike.
Tony, Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch again.
Go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, in the first half, Auburn did not hit many three-pointers. You guys did not turn the ball over, and yet they were right there and had the lead at halftime. How concerning was it that it seemed like you were doing what you needed to do?
Well, I thought we had some errors defensively. One, we weren't back the way we needed to against them, and we made a little adjustment at halftime to hopefully help with that. And then we let the ball get in the lane too much. We weren't what we thought we needed to do, impacting the ball handler, even if it got close to a ball screen. They kind of run a dribble drive, and they run these little brush screens, and they were getting downhill, touching the paint, and that put too much pressure. They're so quick, and they went by us, and we needed to collectively, I say, build a wall or impact when we could, and I thought we improved on that in the second half. And, we tried to move them, and it was just they didn't shoot it as well in the second half. But for the most part, we handled the ball pretty well. But, yeah, that was, hey, we're taking care of the ball. But I knew it was our transition defense and how much they were getting in the paint and offensive rebounding, areas that you're not going to win if you don't clean those up. And then they made the plays down the stretch.
Right in the center, second row, Paul.
Tony, Paul Woody, Richmond Times-Dispatch. You said Kyle making those three free throws was terrific. Is that a strong enough word for that situation, that you've got a career, a season, so many things on the line?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he hit that shot before it and then stepped to the line, and, we were 6 of 12 from the line, and we struggled from the line, but for him in that setting to do it, yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. terrific. Sorry, that wasn't a strong enough word. Amazing, spectacular. Is that, I don't have many more. I didn't graduate from UVA, so my vocab's a little limited.
Good word still, Coach. We're going to go to that same area of the room.
Hey, Tony. Zach Peerless, Augusta Free Press. When Ty came out with the 4 fouls, did you have any words for him? And then how did you try to weigh when to bring him back in?
Yeah, I said, why'd you do that? He just thought, we needed him on the floor, and I was going to put him in once we got into the media timeout. But I thought, if we can get him at the 3-minute or under 3, we'll put him back. They shot a shot, and I don't know if we missed a block out, but we got a miss. And then they offensive rebound and got it back. And at that point, I think he went in around the 3-minute mark. I don't know when he picked up his 4th foul, 4.5, 5 minutes, somewhere right in there. It was before the media, and it was really going to be either under the media or at the 3-minute mark, and we needed him back on the floor. I think we went down by a couple possessions at that time.
Front row center, Adam.
Tony, Adam Zagoria, congratulations.
Thank you.
These guys just said they've been answering questions after every game about last year.
Yep.
Can you just kind of put into perspective what it means to come from that to within one game of winning a national championship on Monday?
It's a great story. It is. I told those guys, and I said it, I think, at the press conference here 2 years ago. We were playing in Orlando against Florida and just getting blown out. And they were at the scores table. One was in, and there's maybe 2 or 3 minutes left. And I huddled down by him, and I said, this is going to change. It's okay. I said, but take note of this. I said, we're going to do this. Then after the UMBC game, we sat in the holding area after that loss, and I said, we're not going to put up Isaiah or Devin, our 2 seniors. Ty and Kyle, I said, we're going to be up there, and it's going to be one of the hardest things to be facing that press conference. I said, but it starts now. I said, it's going to mark something. And I said, we're going to get through this, but you guys need to be up there with me, and we need to go through this. And then we need to go through next year together. We need each other. I knew it was going to be such an important time in our lives, however it played out. And so to see them, I kind of earmarked those guys after that game in Orlando 2 years ago, and then to put them, that's not a fun setting for anybody in the press conference. And now to sit with them here brings great joy to my heart. It really does, because it's good. That's all I can say, and I'm so thankful. And again, whether it happened or not, I would have been so thankful for what they've done for this program and our bond through this all.
Final question for Coach Bennett on the left side.
Coach Lucas Weiss, last word on sports. Sincere congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
You come from a basketball family with your father and your brother.
I don't have a brother, with my sister.
Oh, your sister. Sorry, your sister.
I always wanted a brother, but no.
Just comment on what credit do you owe them to getting into where you are now, 1 game away from a national championship?
Huge. I mean, so many people have poured into my life basketball-wise, but I've said this before. What my dad did for me, he took Wisconsin to the Final Four. He retired, and then he decided to come out of retirement. We went to Washington State, and I was his assistant or associate head coach, and he took the Bullets for 3 years. It was hard. He lost. He had been at the top, and he did it. And he said, I can't go anymore, but I think you have a chance. I don't know if you can turn it around, but talk about a father's love for a son in that regard. He basically, at the end of his career, said, I'm going to try to help you rebuild it. Here you go, son. You got a chance. I wouldn't be here without that. And then my sister, Kathy, was a great player and a great coach. But my wife, my children, my mom, I understand when you're a coach's son, it's everybody. So I'm humbled. And I stand in awe of this journey. I really do. And I really am thankful for it. And but mom, dad, wife, kids, sister, it's all there.
We'd like to thank Coach Bennett for joining us here in the main interview room, and congratulations, Coach. We'll have Coach Pearl and student athletes from Auburn in just a moment. Just real quick, everybody, we're experiencing some new and exciting issues with the HVAC here in this room. If everybody can hear that fan, it's really exciting during the news conferences. So when you're asking your questions, do your best to bring the microphone very close to you. If we have a microphone that's not working or giving feedback, we'll stop it and we'll bring you one that's going to work. But in order for the coaches and athletes to hear your questions, you almost have to, get it very close to your mouth, almost swallow the mic, which they tell you not to do. But in this case, we'll forgive you. Everybody got that? Thank you. In just a moment, we'll be joined by Auburn head coach Bruce Pearl and student athletes Jared Harper and Bryce Brown. The remaining Auburn student athletes are going to be available in the Auburn locker room for a period of 30 minutes. That time period's probably already begun. Don't know that officially, but just making a guess. Just one more reminder to please silence your cell phone, avoid any flash photography, and avoid any recording video, even mobile phone video, here in the main interview room during the Auburn news conference. Thank you very much. And again, mind that microphone. Make sure we can hear you very well. Also, somebody seems to be missing his cell phone with a red protective case here. If it belongs to you, we'll give it back to you at no charge. Unless it's Malcolm's. Then it's $8. Auburn has arrived. We're joined now by Auburn head coach Bruce Pearl and student athletes Jared Harper and Bryce Brown. We'll ask Coach Pearl to give us a couple opening thoughts, then we'll take questions first for the student athletes this evening. Coach.
I want to congratulate Virginia on a great victory and advancing to the championship game. We knew we were playing against a great team with a great defensive scheme. Made it very difficult for us, but we've got incredible character and heart and belief. These guys have overcome adversity all year long. They've been doubted all year long. And we're just disappointed that we're not going to get a chance to work tonight and tomorrow and have a chance to play for a championship. I'm very, very proud of these two guys right here who are, I don't know whether they're the best backcourt in the country. That doesn't matter. But I wouldn't trade either one of them for any backcourt in the country.
We'll take questions now for the student athletes. If you do have a question for the student athletes, please raise your hand. We'll start all the way in the back on the right side of the aisle.
For Bryce and Jared, what were your thoughts on that last foul call? And what did you all think as they were trying to figure out what the call was?
We'll ask Bryce to take that first, followed by Jared.
I just didn't think it was a foul. But the refs thought otherwise, so can't go back and rewind it. So.
And Jared.
I would just say that I think it was a tough call, but that's not where we lost the game, I don't think.
Continuing with questions for Jared or Bryce. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Please remember to state your name and media affiliation before you ask your question. Questions for the Auburn student athletes, please raise your hand. We'll send the microphone steward in your direction. There's one up front on the left side.
This is for both Jared and Bryce. Obviously, you're down 10 with 5 minutes to go. You go on a remarkable tear. You take a 2-point lead. At that point, what's being said in the huddle? What are you saying to each other? And in an attempt to close out the game, obviously.
We'll ask Bryce to take that first, then Jared.
We just all season long, we've been through a lot of adversity, and Coach does a good job of just keeping us together. Me and Jared do a good job of keeping the guys together, and we've been down like that before, and I think it's just staying together, somebody stepping up and just letting everybody know, no matter what happens, don't go off and do your own thing, and I feel like at the end of the day, in the game, we stayed together, and that's why we were able to make that run.
Jared, same question.
I just think that those last when we were down 10, we just figured out that we had to get stops. We had to find a way to get stops. We didn't start the second half out well. Defensively, we let them do what they wanted. So being able to climb back in the game and get in that position was great for us. But of course, we wish we could have finished with a different result.
If you have a question for Bryce or Jared, please raise your hand. All the way in the back to the right again.
Bryce, obviously a tough situation, but what were the emotions like when it seemed like you guys thought you had won the game, and then hearing of the foul call?
Yeah, we kind of thought we had it sealed. It just came down to that last possession. That's not where we lost the game, like Jared said, but it was a significant part where I just didn't agree with the call, and can't say too much about that.
Left side of the room toward the front.
Lucas Weiss, last word on sports. Bryce and Jared, obviously disappointing loss, and there's such a fine line between winning and losing. But after a few days of recovery and reflecting back on this season, what positives are you both going to take going forward in the development of your game and into next season?
Once again, we'll ask Bryce to take that first, then Jared.
Like I said, I feel like all season long we've went through a lot of adversity. There's been a lot of times we could have given up as a team, and the season could have went downhill easily. But the guys, we trusted in the coaches. We trusted in what we do. We never changed what we do, and we stayed true to ourselves and continued to just trust each other the whole season. And I wouldn't have rather did it with any other guys in the nation, any other coaches in the nation. We truly feel like we have the best players, best coaches. This it's been family all my 4 years, and I wouldn't trade this team for nothing.
And Jared.
Like you said, we battled through a lot of adversity this year. We definitely grew a lot as a team, even individually, just trusting one another. I think that's where we did a good job coming towards the end of the year. We played a great end of the season, a great March coming into the Final Four. I feel like we still played good tonight, but it was a tough loss.
Any further questions for Bryce or Jared? There's one on the left.
George Schroeder, USA Today. This is for Jared. Played down the stretch, you're down 10. Jerome has the ball trying to post you up. Can you take us through that sequence? He did not score, and then he fouled on the way back up the court. It seemed like a turning point, 4th foul for him. Can you take us through that sequence, and did you think that he was frustrated at that point?
I was just thinking I had to make plays defensively, just try to do the job I good. I wasn't scoring the ball as well tonight, so I felt like I had to impact the game in another way, and that being on the defense end. He had a great game tonight, so when I was able to step in front of him, I was just trying to limit and make it as hard as I could for him.
We'd like to thank Bryce and Jared for joining us here in the main interview room, and congratulations, you guys, on a great season. They're going to head back to the locker room right now. It should still be open for a few more minutes. Questions for Coach Pearl, please raise your hand. There's one in the center of the room. Or to use the front left microphone there, Matt.
Naomi Gray, Fox 47. Coach, this is obviously a heartbreaking loss for your program. What words did you tell your guys following a loss like this in efforts to kind of lift their spirits?
I asked them, would we have trusted God any more in victory than we would trust him in defeat? In the sense that he carried us all the way here, all season long, and put so much blessing upon us. And so this is what the plan was. And let's handle the defeat like with dignity and with class. Let's give the opponent credit. Virginia shot 57% in the second half. Offensively, they played really well and scored and knocked down shots, and as a result, they're still playing.
On the right side, toward the front, Nicole.
Nicole Auerbach of The Athletic. Bruce, did you see Ty Jerome and the double dribble? Did you think in that moment that it was a missed call?
We were in a situation late where we had some fouls to give, and I knew there was a disruption there. And you just got to get on to the next play.
Continuing with questions for Coach Pearl. Is there a final question for Coach Pearl? Let's go up front.
Jim Root from Three Man Weave. Tony was just out talking about after last year how he made Ty and Kyle come up and face the media with after their loss. Is this something you talk with Jared and the other guys that are coming back where this is something we can build on? We have a lot of talent still in the locker room, and you have a program that can continue to compete in the next year and in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, for us, I thought that we looked like we belonged. We weren't supposed to be here. We weren't supposed to have a chance to win, or maybe had a chance to win, but unlikely. And just like we have done all year long, even when we got down, there was still time on the clock, and there were points to be scored, rebounds to be had. And I thought our kids made a lot of plays to be able to, win the game. So in this will be a memorable game. And I'd like it to be remembered for a great game. And let's not remember this game because of just how it ended. Let's remember two teams that played really hard, that only had 13 turnovers combined, didn't shoot it very well because there was great defense, had nothing to do with the sight lines or the rims. I mean, we missed a lot of threes. We missed some open shots. but we played against a great defense. And it was a great college basketball game.
On the right side of the aisle.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer. Bruce, despite what you said, I have to ask you, what was your view of the last call, and what did you tell Samir in the locker room afterward?
Really we didn't focus on that. We focused on how we were going to handle the defeat at Auburn with class and dignity. There are lots of calls during the game, and you're going to get some you're not, and some you're not going to get. My advice as an administrator of the game is, if that's a foul, call it. Call it at the beginning of the game, call it in the middle of the game, call it at the end of the game. Don't call it any more or less at any other time during the game. That was the call. But it can't define, don't let it define the game, because then you're taking away from Ty Jerome, or you're taking away from Anthony McLemore with 12 rebounds, or Bryce Brown almost leading Auburn back to an incredible come-from-behind victory. I'd love that to be the story.
Is there a final question for Coach Pearl? We'd like to thank Coach Pearl for joining us here in the main interview room, and Coach, congrats on a great season and a great run.